Virgo. My name is Audrey Alison. Thank you for joining me for your October 2015 forecast for the month. And I really want to take a minute to thank you so much for choosing me to read for you and for subscribing and liking and sharing these YouTube videos and posts, as well as for your loyal support on my Facebook page, Audrey Alison, Astrology and Tarot. And I'm going to take a minute to also thank the viewers for donating to my website. When I created the site, I did not have a donation button up on my main page, but I was contacted a few months ago by a woman from a town called Manchester by the Sea in New England, and she asked me to create a donation button because she did not want a reading, but she wanted to contribute to the success of my channel and venture. So I just really want to express my gratitude for all of those people who have donated without expecting a single thing in return. It amazes me at the generosity that people have in 2015, and compared to the requests I receive each week for free readings, this was such a beautiful shock that people would donate without expecting anything in return. So I really wanted to thank the person, I won't call out by name, but the woman in Manchester by the Sea, as well as another woman in France who continually donate to me on this venture. So thank you. Okay, it is a super hot Southern California day out here, so let's get to the forecast. Venus is exiting Leo finally after a 4-month stay, including a retrograde, on the 8th of October and entering Virgo through the 8th of November, where she will meet up with Jupiter and Mars in your first house. This is magnificent energy for Virgos. Now please watch your ascendant sign as well for your forecast, because I'm going to get into some specific transit degree information that will be more accurate to your natal ascendant positioning. Okay, but yes, these are solar forecasts. Venus in the first means that you are looking your best. Venus is smoothing over and beautification. She's also money, just as much as she is love. She's support. And she is in the first house of body, self, and ego through the 8th of November. And when Venus is conjunct Jupiter, this is very expansive energy for the beautification. But watch the physical expansion. Watch the body, because it tends to expand itself as well. So you need to double up on that cardio. On the 9th of October, Mercury, your ruling planet, finally goes direct at 0 degrees of Libra. Officially, he clears his shadow at the 15-degree mark of Libra, which occurs on the evening of October 23rd, in your second house of money and possessions and self-worth and self-value. So throughout that retrograde, you could have been assessing where the money is going. And now that Mercury is direct, the communications surrounding money go much more smoothly. And the information coming in. There's no more missing emails. There's no more nebulous bank statement energy. So that's positive there, because that's also the same house where we will hold the new moon on the 12th at 19 degrees of Libra in this second house. So set your intentions in that sector, because this is the only money moon of your possessions that you receive this year. Going back to the 11th, there's an aspect I want to discuss, because this aspect will flow through the remainder of October into November. And it is an Earth trine situation between Jupiter, stationed in Virgo, along with Venus and Mars, trining Pluto in Capricorn at 13 degrees exactly on the 11th through the end of the month. This impedes the first and fifth house. This affects, I don't want to say impedes because it's not a negative influence. The trine is a harmonious energy filtering in at 180 degrees in between the house of children and the first house of self, and the house of creativity and the creativity with the children and the first house. So you could find that there's a lot of awareness and expansion and faith and optimism regarding your children at this time. And Pluto is intensity and deep-seated energy. And Jupiter is jovial and lighthearted and fun and adventurous and loves taking risks. And I feel like this could apply to those of you with children right now. Having this energy of fun, leisure, pleasure, relaxation. And it's a beautiful earth aspect that you resonate with, Virgo, because you are earth. And this earth trine will be very familiar for the remainder of this month and this year a few times because of Jupiter stationed in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto takes forever to transit, 20 years or so, 20 to 27 years, and Jupiter is in a sector for a year at a time, 13 months or so. So this trine is in full effect. Now on the 15th and 16th consecutively, Mars joins Jupiter at the 13-degree mark, trining Pluto. So this very excitable, I'm calling him the little brother to the uncle of Jupiter, or the stepbrother, or the cousin, someone who's just very anxious and wants energy and excitement, and is rallying up Jupiter, who's taking his time, just sitting in your first house, expanding, but giving you faith, giving you the optimism to believe you can achieve these things. You know, when Jupiter entered my first house, I started a business because I just knew I could do it. And you can do it. It's just about what you hold here. Anything is achievable because you're creating your own path. On the 17th, Mars is following suit again, riding along the energy exactly at 14 degrees of Jupiter, in direct 14-degree a direct alignment with Jupiter at the 14-degree mark around the wheel. There's this theme with them together, doing the tango. And that's rare because, you know, they're both masculine planets, but they are on top of each other in this field of cosmos. On the 19th, the moon joins the Earth energy, joining Pluto in Capricorn. Now, this is at a 13-degree Capricorn trine between Mars at 15 degrees of Virgo, Jupiter at the 14-degree mark of Virgo, and Venus at the 9-degree of Virgo. So the moon is intuition, joining the planet of intensity, Pluto, on the 19th to add in the intuitive mix. You know exactly what's going on between your first and fifth house. Creativity, entrepreneurial energy, or romance. Okay, for those of you looking for relationship, for those of you without kids and you're looking to start a new romance, this is spectacular, positive, romantic trine energy. No doubt you'll be linked up by the end of the year. For those of you who are already in relationship, the fifth house is not your marriage necessarily, but it's your passion, your love, the flirtiness, the more lighthearted aspects of true love and romance, which are beautifully aspected throughout the rest of this month. Now, on the 23rd of October, the sun enters Scorpio, and every year at this time, that's the third house of communications for you, and the third house of siblings, and neighborhoods, and local travel, local areas, a lot of errands, and the vehicle, the car. The sun here could provide a new car, or switching it up, trading in the lease, or just rolling over some kind of new car situation for you, because the sun is positive energy as well. So it might be time to shine in the vehicle department. On the 27th, we have our full moon at 3 degrees of Taurus. That's going to ignite a grand earth trine, Virgo. You love this because we haven't had the earth trine energy in quite some time. Now, this is a supermoon, and supermoon is closest to the earth and in direct alignment between the sun and the earth. And we won't have another supermoon until April of 2016, and that's a new moon, so you still won't see it the way you're going to see this puppy hang in the sky. So this full supermoon on the 27th is also a day that ignites a grand earth trine between Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, Pluto, Jupiter, and the moon itself in the 1st, 5th, and 9th house in astrology for you. 1st house of self, where you have Virgo on the solar wheel. 5th house of children, where you're holding Capricorn and Pluto. And now Taurus, the moon, in the ninth house of higher education, education for the children, the ninth house of study and certification, and even new belief systems, the changing or the implementing of a new belief system, a new education style could be coming into play. It's also foreign travel for those of you without kids and you're doing things abroad. Beautiful moon to bring things to an ending as well, because the full moon is the culmination and the awareness in these sectors, in the trine between the first, fifth, and the ninth house. Now, on the last day of the month, happy Samhain, happy Halloween. On the 31st, when the veil is at its thinnest, the sun is in Scorpio now, which will ignite Pisces in Neptune in Pisces, but the moon enters Cancer. The moon transits every 2 to 3 days, very quick satellite energy. And there's a grand water trine 4 days after the grand earth trine, ending the month on Halloween, the most psychic nebulous energy on the thinnest veil of the day between realms, between the living and the dead, in between the third house of communications, the seventh house of marriage, and the 11th house of friendships and connections and social sectors for you. So, communication, clubs, clients, connections, and business partnerships as well can be intuitively sought through or figured out on the last day. I want to get to the cards, and I'm using the Rider-Waite deck, typical plaid etching on the back, but I am paying homage to Pamela Coleman Smith, who is the actual illustrator and creator of this deck. Rider-Waite usually gets the credit for the Rider-Waite deck, and for those of you who read, we all hold a Rider-Waite deck. I retrieved this from the French Quarter. But I want to take a minute to discuss Pamela's story because it really touched me, and she was born in England on February 18th or 16th, 1878, and she traveled in between London, Brooklyn, New York, and Kingston, Jamaica, and studied at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, which is a theater school, as well as artistry. And she joined the Order of the Golden Dawn in 1903, known for its influence with Aleister Crowley. And she was a member of tarot divination and mysticism, and she had a spectacular intuition as an artist herself. And in 1909, she was called upon and guided by Arthur Waite to draw 78 illustrations as he described them. It was his idea to manifest this deck, but she was the artist behind these drawings that have never changed, although they have enhanced in coloring depending on when they are reproduced. But I wanted to read an excerpt and show her picture. Pamela Coleman Smith. It says, despite the occasional art shows and favorable reviews by critics, she continued slow sales of her works and received rejections by commercial publishers, and that left her deeply disappointed. She undertook, under the guidance of Arthur Waite, for a token of payment, a series of 78 allegorical paintings described by Waite as a rectified tarot pack. The designs published in the same year by William Rider-Waite, exemplify the mysticism, ritual, imagination, fantasy, and deep emotions of this artist. She never married. She never had children. She had no known heirs except for an elderly female companion that shared her flat in London. She died on September 18, 1951. Ironically, that is the day I'm recording these videos. She was penniless and obscure, and there was no funeral procession to honor her life. There was no memorial service to touch upon the impact her work would one day have upon her admirers. She died disappointed. This is an assumption, but she died disappointed that her paintings and writings failed to achieve success, yet she never stopped believing in herself. Pamela Coleman Smith would all but be forgotten except for these 78 tarot paintings known as the Rider-Waite Tarot Deck. She would no doubt be astonished and gladdened to know that today the deck touches the hearts and emotions of millions of people around the world. So Pamela, I'm honoring her today, and I'm going to read for Virgo for the month of October. And if you'd like to book with me, I'm at Audrey Alison, Astrology and Tarot. I'm also asked back now for a third time as a special guest on the Goddess Alive radio show on October 15th, where I will be taking callers live on the air for tarot tasters. There will be more information on that call-in number on my Facebook page, Audrey Alison, Astrology and Tarot. All right, Virgo. Here are your cards for the month of October. Okay, the Three of Swords. Now, this is about Mercury and the ruling planet energy of your sign. The Swords cards rule the air and the thoughts, which are all Mercury. And we start the month with your ruling planet retrograde. So there might be, until the 9th, some sorrow, feeling of loss, or probably heartache regarding this card. The Two of Swords. This card has come up in a lot of readings. And I'm obsessed with the artistry of this. I love this card. It does mean opposition, though, but opposition here in your own mental thoughts, not physical opposition, or not the fire energy. But your thought processes. You could be struggling between a decision, between one thing or another. The Seven of Wands is going after what you really want with passion and fire. This is when Mars links up with Jupiter. The feistiness and the action and the stamina and energy of that planet in the area of expansion in your sign of Virgo, Mars in your sign, taking action. Now there's a few outcome cards. All right, well, the Tower. You know, some of you Virgoans might be dealing with a separation or a loss, a divorce, or a passing. And I'll get to some interpretation in a second. Okay, a death. Well, yes, some of you have definitely been dealing with the passing of family or putting to rest some heartache and loss that didn't work out. Knight of Wands, replenishment coming in very quickly, and Page of Wands. Look at the fire here. Mars in Virgo, Venus in Virgo, Jupiter in Virgo. So all of this replenishment is here for those of you who have suffered, who have lost someone, or experiencing the loss and heartache at this time. Listen, you have a lot to be hopeful for. This is the time with optimism that's coming into play. So if you have had news of someone passing, there is replenishment around this and a lot of healing energy, because opposite Virgo is the sign of Pisces, where there is Chiron, the wounded healer, the asteroid in your 7th house of healing, and wanting to smooth over your relationships with people in the 7th house, smoothing over the marriage. Maybe some of you are contemplating separation and feeling the loss of your connection that originally started, but Chiron is there to help you, okay? And this asteroid, who is not given enough credit, similar to Pamela Coleman-Smith, is there to do just that, to heal the 7th house of the others, the 7th house of the marriage, the 7th house of the hidden enemies, the 7th house of the business partnerships, that which you thought had failed. There is no real failure, except for that what you put on yourself, okay? And nothing will happen that should not happen. And I feel like that is your message, definitely, in this spread here, because as not positive as the Tower can be in combination with the card of transition, which is the Death card, it's just transition, it's change. Change is uncomfortable, but that's the only thing that's constant. And the fire is at the end, the outcome, to pick you up. Actually, it was these two at the end, to pick you up. And these could be influential fire sign people. These are messages as well, but coming in fast, very speedy replenishment of energy for you if you were taken down by your loss. Virgo, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.